You ever have someone underestimate you so badly that when karma finally hits, all you have to do is sit back and watch them struggle? Because that's exactly what happened to me. One moment, I was the backbone of the lab, running things smoothly, keeping everyone's work on track. And the next, I was quietly replaced. No warning, no talk, no respect. But here's the best part. Just hours after firing me from my own role, they came crawling right back, asking for help, and I made sure my silence said everything. If you ever dreamed of calmly watching karma do your job for you, you'll love this story. If you've ever been underestimated by a boss who thought they were smarter than you, hit that like button, subscribe, and get ready for one of the most satisfying acts of quiet revenge you'll hear today. This story takes place in Chicago about 3 years ago. My name's Aaron Lawson, and at the time, I worked as a lab manager for a mid-sized research firm called Helios Diagnostics. Now, I was a scientist myself. My degree was in operations. But I'd worked my way up from an assistant to managing almost every piece of equipment, documentation, and cryogenic storage system in the building. Basically, if something broke or went missing, everyone came to me. I'd earned that trust. Years of long nights, emergency fixes, and dealing with egos way bigger than the microscopes they stared into. Then came Dr. Matthews, the new head of research. The kind of guy who walks in wearing a pressed white coat, shakes your hand too long, and says things like, "I'm all about efficiency. Let's cut the fat." Yeah, I knew right then I'd have problems. For the first few months, he mostly ignored me, which I preferred, until one of his pet scientists, Lydia, messed up a long-term cell preservation project. Instead of owning it, she blamed me, said I mislabeled samples and compromised her results. The problem? I had proof she didn't follow the storage protocol. But Dr. Matthews didn't care. He took her word. And just like that, my name was dragged through the mud. Then Friday morning rolled around. I noticed a meeting invite had gone out to everyone in the lab. Except me. Weird. But I told myself it was probably just another science-only meeting. Later that day, a co-worker, Ben, someone I trusted, slipped by my desk. He gave me this awkward half-smile and whispered, Aaron, they just announced Lydia's taking over your cryo documentation role." My stomach dropped. I hadn't been told a thing. And apparently, they told the entire team I was being reassigned to other duties. No one had even spoken to me. I sat there staring at my monitor, feeling humiliated. All the nights I stayed late, all the weekends I came in, and this is how they replaced me? The worst part, I wasn't even angry at Lydia. I was angry at myself for caring so much about people who clearly didn't respect me. By the end of the day, I decided to clock out and go home early, just to clear my head. But before I could leave, I got an email. Subject, urgent, need help with cryo log. From Lydia, she wrote, "Hey Aaron, could you process the storage samples for me today? I don't know the protocol yet, and Dr. M doesn't want Jonas staying late. Need it done ASAP." I just stared at the screen. They'd fired me from the role, and were now asking me to do the job anyway? I took a deep breath, smiled, and typed 2 words. "I'll get back to you." Then I closed my laptop. And I didn't. Hours later, my phone buzzed. It was Ben again. "You're not going to believe this," he said. "They're still here. Lydia messed up the prep, and Dr. Matthews won't let anyone leave until it's fixed." I could practically hear the chaos through the phone. The whirring of the machines, the clatter of vials, the sound of frustration building. For once, I didn't feel guilt. Just calm. I'd done nothing wrong. They'd built this mess themselves. By 9:30 p.m., Ben texted again. "Lydia's in tears. Matthews is furious. Half the team stuck cleaning up her mistake. You did not miss much." I poured myself a glass of wine, turned on a movie, and felt peace for the first time in months. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't loud. But it was justice. The next Monday, Dr. Matthews finally came to speak with me. He stood in my doorway, arms crossed, and said, "I heard there was confusion about your role last week." "Confusion?" I asked, keeping my voice neutral. He cleared his throat. "Yes, well, I may have miscommunicated. You're still expected to assist until Lydia's fully trained. I smiled, met his eyes, and said quietly, "You'll have to take that up with HR. I'm no longer responsible for that department." He didn't say another word, just stood there, realizing he lost the one person who actually knew how to run his lab. For the next 2 weeks, everything slowed to a crawl. Cryo shipments got delayed. Experiments were rescheduled. And eventually, Lydia quit. By the end of the quarter, Helios brought in a consultant to help, which cost them thousands. All because they couldn't respect the person who already had it handled. Sometimes revenge isn't slamming doors or screaming your worth. It's staying silent and letting their arrogance speak for itself. They thought I was disposable and ended up proving how essential I really was. If you've ever been underestimated or replaced by someone who didn't deserve your spot, smash that like button and tell me in the comments. Would you have helped them or let them burn? And of course, don't forget to subscribe for more true, satisfying revenge stories every week. Because sometimes, karma doesn't need a plan. It just needs patience.